Today on the Euro Truck Podcast, we talk about what games we're looking forward to in the new year. JeffersonB provides a personal review of the Steam Link and Steam Controller, and we talk about the channel in 2016. Hello and welcome to the No News New Year's Podcast with Andrew C.
And JeffersonB.
Burns!
Freelance gamer. Stop hot gluing things. Stop it.
Yeah, I think you need like special
Well, I mean,
hot
you can
glue
hot
gloves.
glue things. Just stop hot gluing your fingers together.
Yeah, definitely that.
Yeah, gloves I think would actually be a very worthwhile investment.
Yeah.
And engine
Crochet
malfunction.
gloves
Great.
to allow you to super glue things that you are crocheting.
That sounds too meta.
I mean,
don't
that's like
think it
having a
would
3D
work.
printer. 3D print things to make a 3D printer.
I mean, that's true. But
Makes sense.
generally, you have to borrow someone else's 3D printer.
Right. It is not a self-assembling machine yet.
Curious if it ever will be. But this is not the time for this discussion. We have a spot for that later.
This is not a futurist podcast. This is a gaming podcast.
Indeed. Indeed it is. So, even though this is a gaming podcast, it can also... Last week was also Christmas, and so, did anyone get anything cool for Christmas? I really didn't. I got a job. I mean, that's kind of cool.
You wouldn't say you got that for Christmas, though.
I got it close to Christmas.
It wasn't, hey, Merry
It wasn't under my
Christmas,
tree,
give me a
no.
job.
I mean, he
It wasn't wrapped in bow
Yeah,
ties.
you didn't have a W-9 like sitting under your tree with a bow on
Correct, I did not.
I mean, I would love to have one right now.
Yeah, that'd be a good Christmas gift. I mean, I have a job now, but I mean, if Double Fine hired me,
That would be
Shout
a
out to
better
Double
Christmas
Fine.
present. Or, at this point, New Year's present.
I'll take it. I don't care. It could be an Arbor Day present. I don't care.
Merry Arbor Day.
it. Oh,
Arbor Day doesn't exist.
Arbor Day gets no love.
Totally does.
It doesn't exist.
It exists more than Grandparents' Day does.
Okay, fact. But that doesn't make it relevant.
No, it doesn't.
So, am I the only one who didn't get adult things for Christmas?
Yes, I think
I mean,
so.
like, I got socks, but I also, like, I don't know. I have two younger siblings, and, we agreed for this year, like, we won't do the practical stuff or, the easy, the low-hanging fruit, as it were. We do fun stuff. So I got, like, this, like, weird sand art thing from my little sister. I don't know, it's one of those, like, kind of like a lava lamp. You just stare at it for a long time and hope for the best. And then my brother, because my brother works over at a GameStop, which is a wonderful thing to have as an older sibling, because it means I get things like a Steam Link for Christmas, which has enabled me to sit on my couch and be incredibly lazy by not having to sit at my semi-uncomfortable desk chair. Stalling out on my engine. Probably after recording this podcast, I will probably go and hang out on my Steam Link because I kind of like it. Like it's one of those things where right now I'm running beta firmware because if it breaks, I mean I can always just flash it back to the original public release. And I think that the Steam betas they're not the sketchiest of betas. And basically all that beta is doing is it's helping to fine tune a little bit more of the streaming quality things and added USB sharing, so I can plug in a thumb drive into the front of my Steam Link, and it thinks it's plugged into the front of my computer. So it's like a wireless USB hub kind of thing. I don't know. Steam and media playback, I think, are something I'm kind of looking forward to them developing more. Just as far as like, there's a music player built into Big Picture mode. There's video player playback built into Big Picture mode. There's all this other functionality that I don't think many, if any, a majority of the population never will touch.
Well, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Exactly.
I mean, that's actually a really inexpensive way to be able to get video and music and stuff onto your TV, plus as well as being able to get games on your TV.
Right. It basically what it does is it creates this wireless link. I mean, it's kind of intuitive to the name. I personally I really appreciate the product. I think it's really something unique. My issue that I'm running into right now is finding games that don't require me to sit at a desk. Oh, I saw that too. That was a good one.
My engine malfunctioned, and then my steering just immediately veered to the right, left.
Lost your power steering. Back to my small discussion on Steam Link. I think it's a great piece of technology. I'm excited to hopefully find better uses for it, because I think right now I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to use it. I mean, that's just it's a thing I'm gonna look into. But with Christmas money, I bought a Steam controller. So one of Valve's really cool little Steam controllers, which is a good thing because even though my brother works for GameStop, I still did not get the Left 4 Dead 2 and CS:GO codes for the Steam Link, but I did get them with the Steam controller. So if anybody wants to play Left 4 Dead 2 or face me in CS:GO, I'm not that great, but I'm always open for a match when I'm not, doing other things.
Semi-open.
A lot of
I am mostly open. How's that? Freelance. I know you were asking before we hit the big old record button about the Steam controller and just about its functionality. And my first impression is you gotta get used to it. I picked it up thinking I was going to pick it up like my hands were going to fall where they would on a normal Xbox controller. That's just because that's been the standard that I've had for years now. But the first thing that really struck me was the back paddle buttons. It's almost like a flappy paddle gearbox on a more expensive European sports cars. So it only people who watch Top Gear will understand what I'm trying to describe here. But it's one of those things where it doesn't fit naturally to have a thumb on a joystick on the lower left and this upper right. They're calling it a touchpad joystick. So it flings like a mouse, but has precision like a joystick. But there's no, the only physical feedback that you get from it is this, little haptic engine that keeps buzzing. And a tiny little speaker that makes beeps. I guess not beeps, more like click sounds. Kind of, yeah, actually. Less like a die and more like a physical button press. But yeah, it's one of those things where you kind of have to hold it in your hands, and you have to get used to it, and then you have to almost force yourself into using. And not for nothing, it is a $50 controller. It's one of those things that I'm not going to purchase and then set aside. As far as peripherals go, it's not cheap, but it does have. It came with a USB dongle. The unboxing experience. I wish I had my camera when I was unboxing this thing because it was quite something. They include batteries. What can I say? It's a nice thing to include. But it's a Bluetooth controller with its own adapter, and it comes with a micro USB cable. It runs off of AA's, which I thought was really interesting. It didn't use a lithium-ion battery pack, but I like that fact simply because it means it's not something I have to, have plugged in constantly and just keep recharging it. But yeah,
so the controller is useful. It's probably a controller you could use for everything, right? You could use it for any scenario.
That's the goal. It's so close, and I just.
But it's weird to use, right?
Yeah.
So it's the chopsticks of controllers.
Yeah, it is, because it's one of those things where it's probably the best controller I've ever laid my hands on because it's so customizable. But I have no clue where to start with customizing it, so I am all but lost for using it right now, and I'm just slowly figuring things out over time.
It sounds like your experience is exactly the experience of every single Steam controller reviewer since the thing became a physical product that you could use.
Right, and I think
everyone has universally agreed that it is really good and really difficult to understand how you're going to be able to use it long term for gaming in general, until you've owned it for a while at least.
So I mean, this might be one of those things where in 6 months, ask me again, because I'll probably have a very different perspective on it, and I might have, hey, go on this particular website, find these configs, do this for this and that, and oh yeah, you just got to do this, that, and the third, and it all makes sense. But I don't have that yet, so it's gonna take time.
I got it a week ago.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, actually, so. I bought it a week ago, and then had to travel, 500 miles to Virginia, and I've been working a freelance gig down here in Virginia for the past couple days, so my game experience with it has been very limited. And actually, just to kind of tease at what I've been playing recently, I picked up Luminosity. It was part of a Humble Bundle that I got, and dear goodness, if there was ever a pretty game to play, Luminosity would be it. It's point and click, puzzle game, but wow, is it pretty. But it also is one of those things where it uses the trackpad and a left mouse click. That's it. So I have yet to fully experience the whole Steam controller.
Right. It's not like you've tried to play CS:GO with it.
Yeah, which is something I hope to do, maybe this weekend, maybe next weekend. It'll be something where when I have more time available to sit down and really tweak it. Yeah, really to
Because it's going to be a fight.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be a fight for
to
sure.
get yourself used to it.
Yeah, and
So,
it's then gonna be like, figure this out, change this little setting, figure this out, change this little setting, tweak it, you know.
Probably a good idea at this point, though, to take and move on. We've talked a lot about Steam Controller and whatnot.
Sorry.
So, it's okay. So because we didn't have too much news, we actually kind of wanted to talk about some things we're looking forward to in a couple categories, as well as what's going to come forth on the channel this year. Since today is the 1st of 2016, which is hard to think about.
It's gonna take me like 2 months to remember. It's gonna take me like 2 months to finally start writing 2016 on things.
Yeah, I feel like that happens every year.
Oh my god, I'm gonna mark everything wrong when it comes to the computer deployments.
Yeah. So, what games is everyone looking forward to? For 2016.
I'm looking forward to if they release it, please. Series Sam 4. So I want the series not just to be. I want the series to be continued, and I want it to be over. I want it to be good.
You know what? I want to actually meet Mental to physically see him.
To physically fight the main villain of the game.
At this point, I'm pretty sure Serious Sam is mental, but
I mean, mental as in insane, probably.
no, I mean he's
the bad guy.
He's his own bad guy.
I mean, it might. That would explain the hardest difficulty and why enemies phase in and out of existence. But yeah, I mean that's mine definitely. Like I'm looking forward to that. Also, if you haven't, please go fund Double Fine. Come on, they're putting out Psychonauts 2 in 2018. I know that's not coming out next year, but they're funding it this year. I mean, please.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, the thing is they're doing funding for like a 6-month time, and then they're doing 2.5 years to release, to like develop and release, which is about right. Actually,
No, it's just the fact that they told people about it, and they're like, yeah, this is a thing, but it's not for 2 more years or 2.5 years. That's rough. It's just rough.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to get behind, but that is where I still consider that to be the staple of good released games. The year-to-year release, generally, in my opinion, you don't see enough core changes to make it unique from the original.
Yeah. I can see that making sense. I mean, that's just also the idea that, we live in a very, our culture is very based on having things done very, very quickly.
Right. Case in point, every year they release a new farming simulator game, and it's the same game.
Exactly.
So
it just costs you money.
It just costs you money to get a new number slapped on and another thing that you don't want in your Steam library.
What about you guys? What are y'all looking forward to? What y'all looking forward to?
I am looking forward to No Man's Sky. I think that is going to be one of those games, kind of like Elite Dangerous, where I'll see you in a couple of days, because I won't run out of cool new and shiny to look at, because I am a huge fan of the cool new and the shiny. When something is
it also grindy?
We don't know.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
We don't even know if it'll have a leveling system per se. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, this is so new. I don't have a template to put it in. I don't.
Yeah, it looks like Freelancer. It looks like Freelancers Online, which wasn't actually like a legitimate thing. It looks like the mod that they made, in the sense of like it's not so much levely or grindy, but you still need money to buy ships, and in order to get money, you got to explore and fight and travel. And I think it's gonna be, if they don't make it Elite Dangerous, and they just make it like, if they go, get rid of some of the I don't know that you can make it too much different.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you still need money to get ships. You need to get money through either doing missions or doing trading. If they remove trading and it's all mission-based, that's cool. It'd be a fighting sim, and that's fine with me. But that's still something...
Now, it's exploration-based, though, and it's like, you discover so many, new and unique things, because the chances of you running into another player are, it's my understanding, quite slim.
Yeah, actually, and that's part of the thing, like, where I'm like, I don't know if they're going to do that, or if they're going to do, because they might be fighting against AI, or might not be fighting at all. Like, they really haven't put out enough.
I am excited. That's all I'm going to say. It's on my Steam wish list, and I don't even think I'll get it on Steam. Although I might, just for the preservation factor, because once stuff goes in my Steam library, it doesn't leave.
Right.
You know?
Unless you delete it.
I can't lose it. I can't break it.
Correct.
Except, like we talked about last week on the podcast, deleting things and such. But I can't break the disc. I can't, have a change in roommates that causes me to lose access to a PlayStation 4.
Right.
Right. Plus, it might have the controller support for Steam Link. So
that would be epic because there's so many more buttons I could take advantage of. I'm a fanboy. I'm sorry. I am a proselyte of Steam Link and Valve labeled products.
So one of the games I'm of course looking forward to is American Truck Simulator, because it'd be nice to be able to drive a different vehicle for once.
Cheap shot.
I mean,
it's not that cheap a shot because it's actually gonna it'll be. I'm excited because they're doing California, and I want
to be able to see our own
how
country.
they do it.
And have our signage be the right signs.
The right signs, everything be American. I mean, it'll be nice to just experience the game as America.
Right. It would almost make me want to, if I had the space and the money, like the available income, to make a full bore, trucking simulation station.
Yeah, talk about a lot of expendable income there.
Well, I mean that's what it'd be a virtual reality headset, and the controller interface is actually really what's going to get your goat.
Yeah, controller interface. You're looking at something that's more complicated than what you needed for Steel Battalion. So I don't know that you're gonna.
Sure.
Don't do that.
Maybe something slightly less intense. Yeah. Something like half bore. Let's make a half bore system, not quite full bore.
I've considered buying, a racing wheel and whatnot, and pedals for the game. But because of the way my desk is set up, I'm at an angle. So looking at my monitor, I'm not looking straight on. So I don't know that there's any way to mount the steering wheel so it's on an angle like that without modifying.
This is where the virtual reality headset comes into play, which is something I am definitely looking forward to in 2016. Is the advent of mainstream VR. I think that this is something that we finally have the capacity for. I mean, Oculus Rift, the first guys on the market, are finally debuting their consumer release product in 2016. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, all that jazz. We will get something, and that something will revolutionize the way that we play games.
I like VR for certain things, and other things I never want to have VR in.
I want it to be reasonably accessible. So
roller
coaster, cardboard thing.
Roller coaster, horror games, shooters, flight simulators. You got me on all those.
Now, how much would you be willing to spend? I think that's where I'm thinking is, when can I get this at a reasonable price point?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I won't spend $500 on a display peripheral.
No.
On something that I'm only going to use for half a dozen games.
I won't spend 120 on it because I don't need it I could buy a monitor.
Right.
Exactly.
Monitor costs
I would rather somebody do something more in the Google Cardboard line, where I can take my iPhone and just slide it in and have, my nice pair of IEM headphones, which I use, and go through something through that channel. And I think the hacker homebrew world, if they get on board, we might be able to see some really great strides happening.
Right.
What is it? Razer. Razer's doing OSVR. It's a completely open source virtual reality system. Complete with a motion tracking system, which is my understanding is the next step in the evolution, is doing motion tracking in 3D space.
With that is, can you slam that into a Raspberry Pi, slam some displays into it, into your free Google Cardboard you got from either the Star Wars promotion or the New York Times promotion, and then whammo, you got a really, 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 really cheap VR.
I don't know.
Running the Razer open source software thing.
That might. You would also be like, hey, let me just take this cheapo Chinese Android phone, slap it into my Google Cardboard, slap some rubber bands on it so I can stick it on my head and call it a day. I don't know, but I think it'll be a cool tech experiment.
So, any other tech things? That was the next point we were moving into, so good segue.
Segue completed. I don't think there's any high for me tech wise. VR will be interesting. Everything else, it's there's a lot of consumer tech. There's a lot of consumer level tech coming out, but
I mean, we've got a lot of micro architectures coming out. We've got a lot of these Raspberry Pi type things. There's multiple
I just got my
Raspberry
chip.
Pis
It's
now.
running.
We have the
I'm
chip.
currently running Tamagotchi on my chip right now.
Chip was a Kickstarter project for a $9 computer. It's really a $14 computer after shipping, but
Still cheaper than a Pi.
it is still cheaper than a Pi at the time.
Because I have onboard storage and Wi-Fi.
Yep. I've got mine right here. Try not to crash. It's still in the box because I'm just keeping it safe because I don't yet have a purpose for it.
Yeah, same here. That's why I'm doing the
And
Tamagotchi thing.
Haven't had time to play around with it, so I just figured, just keep it in the box until then.
Probably a good call. But yeah, I can totally see that this idea of we're getting cheap computers. So kids will be starting to make, 8-bit, 16-bit games. So I'm interested to see will we have more retro indie games, retro styled indie games really flood the market.
So without any other tech things that we're looking forward to, because it's not a lot coming besides VR. We move into some channel things here. Not a super large amount of changes over this coming year. Nothing radical. A couple games will be ending. A couple games will then begin, as well as many of our series will continue. We'll start off just to go through the week. We got reviews on Mondays, and they will be continuing as always. I got over a year more reviews from Dr. Ubershadow.
That's a lot of games.
It's a lot of games. Dr. Ubershadow has a lot of games, and he's reviewed a lot of things.
Mike, how large is your library? Ballpark it for me.
I want to say it's 200 plus.
It says 206 games owned.
Wow.
Correct, and then mine's 228.
So,
And I've only reviewed 152 of them.
yeah. So I've still got a ton left, and and that's the thing that can keep going too once we run out of reviews from Dr. Ubershadow. So I don't see that ending anytime soon. Tuesdays we've got Fallout currently. Also
Fallout
changing.
never ends.
Fallout never ends.
Changes.
So until that game gets beat, assuming the DLCs don't come out first,
They're going to.
because they totally will come out before I finish editing it. So
Assuming the game is beatable.
well, the main story mission is beatable, so there is a finite ending.
There is a
to
finite
it.
ending.
If you
apart from
play
side
every
quests.
single quest, then no, it will never end.
Right.
So that's the thing. Wednesdays we have GTA freelance.
Yeah, that's coming to an end. We're getting there. I think we'll be done.
Hard to estimate?
February. We're gonna be done early mid-February with that series, and then I'm gonna be finding something else. I'm looking into co-op with Ubershadow. I'm still trying to pick a game. Bird game. We need to find a bird game now. Oh my god! I know what we're doing. I'm going on
Oh
Steam.
god, why?
Hey, there we go.
Why
Look
would
at
I
that.
do this? No! God, no! Why'd I open my mouth?
Thursdays we have Star Wars currently.
Yep.
With JeffersonB.
Star Wars right now, things are going great in the Star Wars land. Hopefully going to get a video out the day before you're going to see this podcast. So yeah, that story is rounding its final conclusion. We're hoping to probably end here in the late January, kind of the early February, probably in all good luck about the same time that Freelance is ending his GTA 5 video series. After that, I've got a couple other like action adventure RPGs lined up. Maybe some JRPGs, which I know are in mixed company, but I'm just as a fan of the indie scene and indie markets. Maybe we'll find some smaller titles. Maybe we'll be doing some other stuff like that. So yeah, there are options out there. Always open to suggestions for something like that. But right now, it's just kind of a riding the waves. Wait until we're done.
Indeed. So obviously after that, then you have the podcast, occurring on Fridays. Only visual change you probably may see is we'll probably end up at some point once we can switch. We'll probably end up switching to American Truck Simulator instead of the Euro Truck Simulator podcast. So just merely a visual change. We'll move from Europe and Britain to California. But other than that, that's pretty much all there.
We'll hop a boat and we'll hop a boat across the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, exactly. It's a long trip.
It's a really long trip.
So Saturdays we have Star Trek. Any changes there?
Eventually when I get done with the PvE missions, and they don't release any new stories things, I will try to find other miscellaneous Star Trek games, which starting with the controversial Star Trek game that came from the new movie that me and Kyle will be doing together.
Yep.
Again.
We'll be doing a co-op through that. We played through it before, but
Is that the one that everyone hates?
it's the one that's terrible.
Ugh, still hurts saying that.
Hold on, Mike, say the sentence. Come on.
No.
It's a bad.
I already reviewed it, so I don't have to say it anymore.
Read the review. Or probably you should be able to watch the video. So and then then Sundays, the last day here, we have Left 4 Dead currently, but I hear some changes may be coming.
Running out of maps.
Well, no, we're not running out of maps. I just want to try something new to get away from Left 4 Dead. So I want to try to get a D&D Pathfinder game going. Eventually, I'm looking into buying some rule books and hopefully you get some interesting stories. I mean, it's just gonna be the same people who did Left 4 Dead plus Kyle.
Right. So just the same scenery, different scenery. I don't even know. We'll see what happens there. That's a variable that'll occur.
Hats no one wants to think about.
Pretty much every otherwise pretty much everything the same release schedule. Typically, one video per day per week. Same series as. With that, it is time to end. I hope you enjoyed this special New Year's podcast, and make sure you are checking back in with all of the things that are happening on our channel going into the new year. And make sure you also hit that like button, subscribe button, check out last week's video, and we will see you guys next week.
Oh god, my hand again, it burns.